Little baby, pure and small, he created you, he created us all. Hush, little baby, don't you fear, we're never alone when Allah's so near. Hush, little baby, breathing so calm, he'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene, you are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back to this episode of Our Schools, Are They Improving? We discussed some issues and we ended up last time talking about the concept of pre-programming the brains of the teachers and educators and principals, everyone who works in the field of education, to focus on these three things: that knowledge, concepts, and skills. And we said that it's very important to know this because this will help us design our exams in a better way. This will help us to know the progress of our students. Going back to the issue of knowing whether our students are progressing or not, I can recap it in 3 points. First, the well done diagnostic tests should be very well done, meaning that it should consider the elements, the 3 elements that I mentioned. Secondly is comparison, comparing the results of your students with authentic exams. And the best way to have one exam given to all those students, so you would be able to compare the results fairly. So you would compare the results of your student with the average of the local or the international exam. And that's why it's good for our schools, Islamic schools, to know where we are when we compare them with the people who are studying in Finland or Russia, or because of this average would reflect to us and would tell you that the people in England are doing this and where you are, where your students are. The people, average students in the world, are doing this in math or are doing this in science, so you can compare yourselves with them. And the third one, we said that having standards, expectations, this can be done by the school itself. There are many things on the internet. You can take the standards of the people, for example, in Pakistan or in Saudi Arabia, and you say that I like my students to be in this situation. It's up to you. Or you can make up your own standards and expectations. But these standards helps you to measure your students, the progress of your students. Is this clear now? Okay. Now, any question relevant to this point? This thing can change the whole school. By the way, it takes time to change the teachers from what they used to do to that thing. One time I asked a student who was studying in one of the Arab countries, I said, how do you see teaching there? He said that it's okay. I get into the lecture, I put a tape recorder, and I sleep because the lecture has many students, so the teacher does not see us. And I go home, I listen to the lecture, and I think that I'm equal to other students. It's very nice, yes. But is this the teaching that we want? Okay, now this brings us to the main important thing, is that teaching, yes. And most of our time here will be spent on this. The question now, what is good teaching? What is good teaching? What do you expect to see in a class that can be classified as good lesson or outstanding lesson or excellent lesson? What are the features that you are expect to see? Something that you can think. I'll give you 1 minute to think, to tell me the most important thing for you to judge this place is. For example, if I judge this studio, I say that the air condition is very poor. So it would never be classified as an excellent studio, okay? Because from my perspective, when I sweat, I need an air condition. So I would say that one good quality, one outstanding quality of a studio is strong air condition, okay? Now, tell me about schools, about classroom, about teaching. When you say that this teacher is an amazing teacher, outstanding teacher, what do you expect to see? Tell me something that when I go and I see it, I would say, yes, this is an outstanding teaching teaching, I'm not focusing about the teacher. Because if I focus on the teacher, it would say that we'd have a long beard, smile on the face, sincere and honest, and yes, something that even I cannot measure. I don't know the degree of sincerity, yes. Of course, yes, this can be measured by other means. When I enter a class, I would say that this is good teaching, outstanding teaching. Did you write something? I repeated the question many times so you'd be able to write an answer. Yes. Give me, from your perspective, number one, what is it? Yeah.
They are involved in interacting with the teacher.
Okay, this is very good. Now we are talking. Interaction with the teacher. Like now, not all of you are interacting with me, right? Okay, so you can say that this is a good class or not. Now let's discuss this issue. The class is interactive class. What do you really mean by interactive class? I ask a question. Oh, yeah. Now I'm asking you this question. Did you willingly come here to this seminar, workshop, willingly or unwillingly? Willingly. Willingly or unwillingly? Okay. Now you are interacting with me. Do you think that it's a fun lesson? You are going to benefit from it? Yeah. Very good. This is interactive class? No. No. No, this is not interactive class. This is done everywhere. Because the nature of the questions that I raise are silly questions. We call them stupid questions. We call them closed questions. They have one or two answers, yes or no, willingly or unwillingly, right? So we call these questions closed questions. This will not make you outstanding students. It will not. What will make you outstanding students, don't feel insulted, please, yes. Oh, yeah. What will make you outstanding students is that when I ask you questions that would motivate you to think critically, when I challenge you, not when I give you easy questions, because this is done everywhere. When I ask you a challenging question, okay, like, what's your opinion? How would we have done this workshop differently? Do you think if I have another presenter beside me who would represent another viewpoint, and both of us are presenting this to you, would be better, or this style that I'm going to give you better, and tell me why? The questions that begin with why, what is your opinion about this, how if this happened, these are the questions that will make you think, not the questions that I asked you. So now we are coming back to this quality of, and I spend most of my time on that, because this is the thing that needs to change. We're talking about now developing the higher order thinking skills of students. What we were doing now with very lower skills, there's even no skill in that. Just give me, when were you born? You tell me in Mumbai. What's fun about that? When was this author born? You said in 1957. So what is that? It's just very closed questions that doesn't give any person a chance to think. It's just basically memory-based questions. And that's what we need to change in our schools. Okay, I still remember I visited one school here, and I went to the school. It was really, really an amazing. I don't remember the name of the school, and I'm not going to mention it. Yeah, it was an amazing school. The students interacted with the students. They were 11 years old. And I asked them the same question that I used to ask my students, my graduate students in USA. The same questions. Very challenging question. One time I gave them this question, and I divided them into groups. After we agreed that the main reason for the loss of the Muslims in the Battle of Uhud was the disobedience of the archers. We agreed on that. We analyzed this. We explained it very well. And now I confronted them with this situation. Now, those archers, on the Day of Judgment, asked you to be their lawyers in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What would you do? 11-year-old children, they were girls. Do you think this question is challenging? What is your position if they ask you to defend them on the Day of Judgment? They wanted you to defend them in front of Allah. The student gathered, discussed the matter, analyzed it, and then they came with the answer, and with amazing answer. Yeah. The majority of them, almost 90% of the students, came with this response: we are not going to defend them. Why is that? They said that it was very clear command from the Prophet ﷺ, that everybody understood very clearly, and they still disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ. So how can we be in a position to defend people on the Day of Judgment who disobeyed the command of the Prophet? Amazing answer. I swear by Allah, students in graduate schools in the USA, master degrees, I ask them the same question. They don't give me this answer, wonderful answer. I'll continue when we come back. I'll take a quick break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hush, little baby, breathing so calm.
Surah Ikhlas is the touchstone of theology. Theology means the study of God. Surah Ikhlas is the litmus test for the study of God. It is the 112th chapter of the Quran, verse number 1 to 4. Kul huwallahu ahad. Say He is Allah, one and only. Allahu Samad. Allah, the absolute, the eternal. Lam yalid walam yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing like unto him. It's mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 6, book of virtues of the Quran, hadith number 5013. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Surah Ikhlas is equal to the 1/3 of the Quran. There are 4 criteria for the verification of the true God. The first is Ahad, the one and only. The second is As-Samad, the absolute, the eternal. The third is Lam Yalid Walam Yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. The fourth is Walam Yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing like unto him. Verify today whether the God you are worshipping is true or not with the help of Surah Ikhlas, the touchstone of theology.
A man, a mission, a world-renowned orator on Islam and comparative religion. He dedicated more than 5 decades of his life for dawah. Ahmad Deedat.
We Muslims believe that Jesus was the Christ.
This book is an eternal book of guidance for you and for me, for the whole of mankind. It's a solution to the problems of mankind.
The miracle is when you expect a man to be dead and he's alive. That's a miracle.
Man with a Mission, next on Peace TV.
Hush, little baby, breathing so calm.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. We were discussing the issue of challenging questions, and I gave one example they have witnessed in Mumbai here, and I was very pleased with that. Not only that, by the way, this was the response of the student. One student raised her hand, and she said that, comment on your question. I said, go ahead. And she said that, I'm sorry to tell you, sir, that your question is wrong. And I said, why is that? I knew the question that was wrong. I intentionally made the question wrong to see the level of thinking. He said that, why is that? He said that those people already had been forgiven by Almighty Allah. So they would never be in a position to ask us to defend them on the Day of Judgment. I said, what a student. If you want to lead the world, these are the questions that will make the students be able to lead the world. It's not the closed questions. And this was given to 11-year-old students. Is this clear? You need to think. The teachers need to train themselves to ask challenging questions. I'll give you another example, but this was not in Mumbai. This was in another country. Yeah. I visited the class, and the students were discussing one of the stories that they studied during the year. They analyzed the characters. They analyzed the story very well. I was grade 11, 16, 17 years old. The story was about 300 pages. They understood it very well. And then the teacher said, now, based on your study of the story, tell me what's going to happen. She went outside. She knocked at the door. Then she came inside and said that among those 6 characters that we studied in the story, who is going to open the door first? Should I repeat that? Based on your information, based on the analysis of the characters that you studied, which one of the 6 characters would be the first one to open the door when it knocks? I said, wow, what a question. See the degree of analysis that's needed to answer this question. And when you say personality number or character number 5, you have to tell me why. This is exactly what people, when they make analysis, they go so deep to the bottom. And the teacher gave them an opportunity and said that I don't need the answer now. I'll give you some opportunity. Go home and come tomorrow and tell me which personality would be able to open the door first. Do you think that this is a good question? Do you think so? It's an amazing question. Amazing question. This is the type of question that will help you create leaders, thinkers, organizers, like the engineers do all the time. They solve problems. That's why they are smarter than others. Yes, 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 engineers are smarter than others because their life, all their life is problem solving. That's what they do. They solve problems, unlike other professions. Do teachers solve problems? Don't be sensitive. I don't need the answer. Okay, you had a comment. Please go ahead. Yeah, I'm a teacher, so I'm talking about myself. Yes.
I was mentioning that the one of the attributes of a good teacher is that the teacher has to hold the attention of the students.
To hold the attention of the students. Of course, definitely this would be one of the qualities that should be done. Yes, but they said we need to look at the big picture. Now we said that the interactive, now we understand the same language. The interactive class is not the class that focuses on complete. The interactive class is not the class that focuses on closed questions. The interactive class is the class that makes a good combination between closed questions and open-ended questions. Is this clear? And when I say good combination, it does not at all mean 50-50. No, it can be 20-80. It can be 5 versus 95. Depending on what subject are you doing. Okay, now we said that we agreed that one quality of good class is interactive, challenging class, right? So now when I enter a class and I find all the teachers are saying what, when, without asking how and what's your opinion, what if, right? Even imaginative question. Imaginative, just think of any question which may be right or wrong. And let the students analyze your question, say that this is wrong question. Why? Because such and such. Okay, so this is one quality of good class, good teaching. What else? Let's move to another one. Is it that difficult? Describe to me what is a good class, what's outstanding class, what's an excellent class? What would I see there?
The students have to learn.
What does this mean? Explain it to me.
Yeah, basically it is not only understanding a thing. They have to understand to execute in themselves.
Yeah, you mentioned something very beautiful which relates to they have to understand and they have to do, to execute. I explained this to do before? Yes, when I talked about skills. Skills mainly are doing things, right? Doing things. So this again takes us back to the combination of knowledge and concepts and skills. They should be doing a variety of these things at the same time. So they shouldn't focus all the time. What teacher is asking them, when did the Prophet ﷺ leave Medina? When did this happen? When did this? Enough is enough. This is part that is important, but there are other questions that should be asked that represents concepts and doing things. Skills. Okay, now this is a good thing. So what is the second one? Can we say them? I want you to go from here understanding everything. So interactive, challenging class. Second one is what? Combination of knowledge, concepts, understanding, and doing skills. Okay, this is a good class that I should see. I would see the teacher is making a variety of activities, so the students are doing this. What else should I see? Something very important.
The learning is taking place.
What is that, learning?
Learning means
is learning happening now? Are you learning? So if I ask you, what are the two things that you would look for? What would you say? Positive? This is another one. No, I'm asking you about what have you learned now? Okay.
Exploiting the inherent qualities of the student.
What have you learned until now about interactive, challenging class and a combination? So now if I enter this class and I see that the students are saying these answers, would I say that the students are learning? Yes. I have to check. This is one quality. I have to check the students are learning. Lots of teachers go and come out from the class without knowing, without checking that the students understood or not. We have to let them share what they learn. You have to do that, and I will talk about this later on. Okay, so now we learned two things. What else? Very prominent, yes, feature in a class.
Exploiting the inherent qualities of the student.
Okay, I'll take another one until you reach to what I have in my mind.
A good teaching would consist of the right body language a teacher should have. When I say right body language, it's the way, because you're representing the school, you need to seek attention from the students. You need to see whether the student is actually looking at the way you are representing the school.
Right.
The way you talk, the way you pronounce your words, everything.
I agree to that, but I'd like to tell you, would this be on the top priority or would come later? What is in the top priority? Think of it. What is in the top priority?
Involvement of all students.
In what? Involvement of
all students.
Good, very good. The more you involve students, the better the class. Because some teachers would ask questions and would take response from 2 or 3 people only. And you enter the class and you are deceived that this is an interactive class. Yes, it is interactive, but it doesn't cover what you need. You need to involve many ones. And there's one rule here I want you to learn. The more the teacher speaks, the less effective. If you enter a class and you would find that's what I'm doing right now, right? Say that this is a very poor class. When you enter a class, we need the students to do most of the job. 80% for the students, 20% for the teacher, 90% for the students, 10% for the teacher, 95% for the students, 5% for the teacher. The less the teacher acts, the better, because we are graduating the students. We are not graduating the teacher. We know this teacher is very knowledgeable. He can talk for 200 hours, non-stop. We're not judging the teacher. We don't care about the teacher. We care about what the students can do, or what the students know, what the students understand. So now if I enter a class and I see the teacher is doing, as I'm doing right now, speaking all the time, this is a very poor class. Do you understand what I'm saying? The class described, the students just mentioned that he entered the class and sleeps, and the teacher speaks all the time, right? You understand what type of class is this? 0. Very poor. Even if the person who teaches it is a big name. He's a scholar, but he's not a teacher. You see, he's a scholar, but he's not a teacher. Scholars like to sit and disseminate knowledge. Teachers don't sit. Teachers don't. Teachers move. They go to the back of the class. They go to the side of the class. What is on the stage is the student, is not the teacher. Do you understand this one? Is this clear? So now when you enter, you want to evaluate your teachers, you go with this in your mind. But of course, you don't do this evaluation unless you teach them. You have to teach them what you've learned before, right? So now we agreed on 3 things. What are these? Who can do that? You see, from time to time, I'm trying to get your answer from you, right? I want to be sure that you understand what I have, so you will take the message and give it to other people. So by next week, by the end of next week or next month, you would be able to do what I'm doing right now. I hope so. So because this is how we are going to make our schools improve. Okay? Right? What did I say? 3 points. Interactive, challenging, with a good combination of open and closed questions. Very good. Yes. What else? Okay. I will say that we learned 3 things. And again, as a teacher, I can say them. But this is not good. It's much better to hear them from the students. Because when you repeat them, you are not learning anything. You are adding, you're memorizing what you have done. You need to see the students understand it or not. Okay, the first man when you helped me with, who has the microphone? If you have the microphone, so you have to say the 3.
Interactive, challenging questions.
Very good.
Which is a combination of both closed questions and open-ended questions.
Wonderful. Another one.
Involvement of most of the students in the class.
Involvement of most of the students in the class. That requires what? That requires less work from teachers and more work from the students. Okay, we'll end up here at the end of the session, and hopefully, inshallah, next time we'll come to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Little baby, pure and small, he created.